Hey, what's up guys? Zach here with Racing Sim Tools, and today we're going to be doing a setup video. I've already kind of done some of the setup work here, so I kind of already have a really good setup for this Lamborghini. I kind of wanted to just stream today, do some live Q&A if you guys have questions or anything like that. Let me know. Lamborghini is actually really quick here at Imola. It did require a lot of tweaking, mostly expanding that bump stop gap. A little bit less rate so that the suspension had more travel. Once they did that, the curbs actually are not too bad in this car. Let's go ahead and do a few warm-up laps, and then we can look at some data in the new RST. I'm going to be using the new RST today. There might be a few crashes we'll have to kind of see on the way, but I want to start using it more to kind of get you guys ready to for that launch, and also it's kind of good for me to test. This is the new library that we have for one of our races that were coming up. It's pretty awesome. I actually really like this library. Let me see if I can get a cool shot here. It's going to be the one we're going to do for our Silverstone endurance race, but I absolutely love the Lamborghini Huracan Evo. It's a really fun car to drive. But yeah, we're doing the setup at Imola today, so let's go ahead, swap back over. I'm going to return to the garage here, and remember how I get the car camera here. We are going to load up the setup I've already started kind of working on. And I don't know why. There we go. I don't know why the button wasn't working 2 seconds ago. Oh, double audio? Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, 1 second, bud. Okay, how about now? Is that better? Albert, thanks for letting me know too. I hooked up my my new cam, so that's probably you could hear the GoPro picking up the audio. Hopefully this sounds better though. Okay, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. That would have been really upsetting if I would have done the full stream and then noticed it after it posts. I do appreciate that. I always like with doing streaming, it's always like a new experience. Like it's always stuff messing up, constant like setting tweaking. It's unreal. I finally got my Elgato Stream Jet kind of hooked up too. Been kind of nice. I have some of the controls in ACC hooked up, so I can do like the pit menu and stuff like that, which is kind of nice. Really like Imola. Imola is one of those tracks that's just a lot of fun to drive. Can be a little bit hard on the tires though, and the curbs. Being curb compliant is so important at Imola. Mostly because in ACC there's no underfloor damage modeling, so you can really attack that final chicane and gain a lot of time just by really abusing the entry. Tires are almost up to temperature and pressure. Let's do a few more laps. So when we did the RCI event, let me see what the temperatures are right now as well. So temperature is 25 C, so it's a little bit on the warm side right now. But we should be able to do low 43s. Getting a lot of curb there. If you load the car up on those apexes, you can actually hit those curves too. A little loose on the exit there. Tire pressure's looking pretty good. Left side might need a little bit more. So again, when I'm driving this setup, I'm thinking about how it translates to the vehicle handling mile, the VHM. You know, how does the car feel on corner entry, for transient, you know, steady state, mid corner, and corner exit. For me, I can definitely tell the car's a little bit nervous on the entry. It's a little bit sensitive. It's not bad, but it just requires me to be a little bit cautious on the entry. But normally I like to be really aggressive with the steering. Tire pressures on the left are looking good. Tire pressure on the right maybe a little bit high now. Let's do like another 2 laps. Did a 43.4, not too bad. I think we can improve that a little bit. Really engaging that trash can control and ABS. Horrible exit. Gravel there, it costs you so much time. I'm gonna try moving the brake bias back just a little bit. Seeing a lot of ABS activation. I think it may be affecting my braking distance just a little bit. Oh, that was really nice though. A little lift here. Hard on the brake. Get that nice and rotated. Hit that apex on the throttle. Do one more lap and then we'll go to the pits, adjust the pressures, and then we'll start making tweaks here. Ooh, a little too aggressive there. These temps we should still be able to do low 43, so kind of the goal. Again, it's really important to do laps before you start making setup tweaks. Take the driver out of the equation, basically. Hey, what's up, Mohammed? How's it going, bud? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday. My throat has been killing me. Right now in Arizona, it's like high ragweed, which I'm like really allergic to. So my allergies have been going crazy. All right, let's complete this lap. We'll go in, set pressures. A little slidey there. Hey, what's up, new type? How's it going, man? Hopefully you're having a good day. It's doing setup work on the Lamborghini, one of my favorite cars. I think this and the Lexus RCF is probably my favorite cars in ACC right now. Ooh, come on. Hoping my wife brings home some Chick-fil-A for dinner tonight. Sounds really good. Yeah, tire, it seems a little bit high now. All right, let's go ahead and come in. So we got to complete the lap real quick. As far as Steve's data sync. Okay, now let's look at the data. Let's go to RST. Got the new RST loaded in. Oop, what did I just do? That is not what I wanted. Okay, here we go. So here we go. We have some laps here already. Session 1. We'll just call this baseline. All right, let's go ahead and look at that last lap we just did. I'm going to go to temps, ABS, TMP, which stands for absolute tire pressures. Bottom 2 are going to be your pressures. Top 2 are going to be your like temperatures. So looking here, and these are in bar right now because again we're doing the adjustments, and I don't remember what bar to PSI. So I want to hit 1.9 bar is actually pretty good. Let's see. But it's probably a little bit higher. It's probably 1.92. So what's 0.2 bar? Okay, yeah, it's like 2 psi. 0.2 psi too. So let's go to the tires. We're just going to reduce the front right pressure by 2 and the rear right pressure by 3. And then let's take one more quick peek at the brakes. So the brakes, I want to keep them a little bit cooler than 600. You know, if you get a little bit of 600, it's fine, but you don't want like 800, 850. Um, the pads pretty much like to be right around 600. So you can see with brake duct 2, I'm peaking right to 600 for most of the lap. This last two corner, getting a little bit higher peak at like, what is that, 650, but that's not too bad, right? That's going to keep it nice and toasty right in the operating window. The rear could maybe come up a little bit. Rear's at 400 degrees. But one thing they got to keep in mind, guys, is when you open these brakes ducts, what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot more cooling on the tire. So when a more open brake duct, even though the pad's going to cool down, the tire is going to cool down as well, because you're increasing the ambient air around that tire. It's going to basically want more heat transfer to take it out of the tire. So if we were, let's see what our temperature on the rear left tire is. So rear right tire is peaking at 95. But unfortunately, even though we could probably go a little bit less brake duct from a pad temperature standpoint, we don't want to go much higher than that for a temperature, tire temperature, because we're going to start overheating that rear right. So 95, 96, 97 is kind of like the optimal. Yeah, higher temps, okay, new type. What's gonna happen is typically when you're talking about temps, you want it to typically be a little higher than too cold. Too cold is really bad. The thing with higher temperatures is you're gonna have faster wear, right? So those brake pads are gonna wear down even faster at a higher temperature. But for qualifying, it doesn't really matter, right? At a certain point, like 800 C or higher, you will get diminishing brake performance, right? So you don't want to go that high. But you know, 650, 700, 750, you're not really going to notice that over a qualifying stint, which is like a few laps, right? We're doing these for a race setup, so we try to keep them right around 600, 650, which is where we're at here. I'd like to see those rears a little bit higher, but again, that tire temperature on the rear is a little bit, you know, close to overheating. So we have to keep it. We can't go another brake duct lower than what we're at right now. Let's just look at the histogram real quick. Histogram looks pretty good, pretty stiff up front, pretty, you know, neutral on the rear. A little bit of a rebound bias here, which I could kind of find. Some of the corners, I definitely was getting a little bit, corner entry response was maybe a little bit too high. Remember I said it was feeling a little bit on the nervous side. Wasn't too bad, but it was definitely, if I give it a little bit too quick of steering input, I definitely felt like it was unsettling the car just a little bit. I'm going to try 2 clicks less of rear rebound dampening. We're gonna see if that helps bring these kind of peaks down over here. And that should help quite a bit. I've already done, for those guys that are just new to the stream, I've already done quite a bit of tweaks. I normally do these videos from the scratch. Today I was just doing it as I was like, hey, I should stream this. So we're kind of like midway through the process right now. So the setup's pretty good already. Let's go ahead and get these car parameters dialed in though. So let's go. Next car parameters. We're going to be doing the... 1 second, guys. My dog's free. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and select the Lamborghini Huracan. Yeah, the rears, you know, you would kind of want them to be right around 602, but obviously it's a trade-off, right? It's a trade-off between keeping those brakes nice and warm and then keeping those rear tires nice and cool. With a rear wheel driven car, you're going to be putting a lot of load on that rear tire. So you kind of need to find that balance point. So, you know, 400, 450 is still within the operating limit. I'd say you want to always be at least north of like 200, 300 degrees. So 450 is on the lower side, but it's still within that window. And it still helps us keep that rear cool. If I was noticing I was getting a little bit, I was overheating the tires, maybe, so we're at 25C ambient. What if we had a race at 30 degrees ambient? well, what I would probably have to do is even open the rear brake up even more. So the brakes would be even cooler, but at least the rear tire would be a little bit, you know, within that window. It's way more important to get the tires in their thermal operating window than it is the pads. You will notice a big difference in brake performance by keeping them nice and warm, but the difference in time from keeping those tires in their operating window is going to be much, much bigger. Let's go ahead and select the suspension here. So the front right is going to be 190. The rear is 164. And then I got to look at these. But static ride height is going to be 55. Static rear ride height is 60. I'm just going to set these to like 50 millimeters per second. Again, we don't know what they are for RS or ACC. We're just going to make them so I know without a doubt anything above 50 millimeters should be high speed dampening. I don't know the ARB rate yet because I got to go look that up real quick. I have a spreadsheet for that. So just give me 1 second, guys. We're going to just go to our spreadsheet here. Go to the drive. And if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, when I do the infographics, these are what you guys are getting for the magic number. We have some of the data for ACC, so we know how much stiffness that 1 click of ARB gives. We know how much stiffness, you know, springs give on the lateral stiffness. So I'm just going in here looking at my little cheat sheet that I have to figure out how much does the Huracan Evo lateral stiffness change with each click of ARB. So we are, what did I say? We're up front. Mechanical 190, 164. And then we're at 7 and 4. Okay, so the front is 60.5 at these settings, and the rear is going to be at 43.5 at these settings. And then the only thing we still need to look at is going to be, I was really scared that was going to crash because, again, this is the new build of RST and we haven't done a lot of testing on it. But here we go. So I'm trying to come in here, get these values. Let me collapse these quick. So front is 12.6-ish. And then the rear is 16.7. Perfect. At this point, our car parameters are in there, so we're going to go ahead and just save them. Huracan. Let's save right there. And then let's go ahead and get back on track. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to decrease that rear rebound just 2 clicks. Should help us just a little bit in some of those low speed corners. And then we already made the tire pressure change, so that should be good. So we're just going to go ahead, save this as version 0.5 and give her a go. One thing I need to check too, make sure we have a new tire set. Whenever you're doing these setup, guys, always make sure that you select a new tire set every time you go out. You would not believe how many times I did a setup and then was slower and couldn't figure out why, and then realized that I was using an old set of tires. So something to be on the lookout for. Oh yeah, that feels really nice with the rebound. Kind of curious. This Imola's got a nice, good combination of high speed corners and low speed corners, so it'll be interesting to see what that rebound change will make. And high speed corners, adding more rear rebound can sometimes help with corner entry stability because you're keeping the rake at bay. But in low speed corners, it unloads the tires much quicker. Our pressure's looking good. Still a little bit low in the rear, so it kind of come up. Hey, what's up, Speed? How's it going, man? Hopefully you're doing good. We're just doing the Huracan setup at Imola. Yeah, that feels really nice on that second to last corner. So that is a great question, Spartan. And the truth is, we found out from the game files. We figured out a way to read some of the config files to kind of see what values the game is using. You can't change them, but you can read them if you know what you're looking for. That being said, we're going to start looking to see if there's a way that we can add them to RST, so you don't need to enter the values. You just kind of make sure that's the same click setting as what you have in the game. So you won't be able to see those values, and you can't get those values now because they're, you know, they're very kind of sensitive. But we are gonna look at ways to make it easier for you guys to enter these car parameters into RST, because we know it's a definitely big pain point. Car price is looking much better. And really opening the bump stop gap and the reducing the bump stop rates really made this car quite friendly over the bumps now. I don't know if you could see it from the stream, but it feels much better than it did. Hey, what's up, Pathos? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Tomorrow's hump day, thank God. Crazy, tomorrow's already Wednesday, though. All right, let's see if we can get up in there. Yeah, no problem, Spartan. Yeah, I agree. It's always figuring out a way to make it easier for you guys. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand why you need those car parameters. They're like, oh, well, Motec, we don't have to enter anything. Well, yeah, because in Motec, you're not using calculated signals that like RST is using, so. Dang, midnight. That's crazy. But yeah, anything we can do to make it easier, we definitely want to do. A little too much curve there. All right, let's get a good lap here now. Fire pressure is pretty much spot on. See if we can do a low 43. Again, temps are a little bit high. One second, bud. Let me pretty good exit there. Oh, we're flirting with that Delta. Oh, of course I invalidated it. Barely invalidated it. Those bumps on the outside. All right, let's reset. Go another lap. So Spartan said, "Is there any future plans to have suggest that like an old P car stuff you did back in the day?" Okay, so that's a really good question, Spartan. So one of the things that we've done differently with RST now, right, is we are really heavy into the analysis section. We have a lot of graphs, a lot of cool match channels for you guys. So you guys don't really need to know the math. You guys just know how to read the charts, right? Well, we want to make it more and more accessible to people. So what we're gonna, after this update, after we get all these new graphs implemented, so you can select as many as you want, what we want to do is get it to where there's some auto annotation. So what that means is, what the RSC will try to do is add points of interest to the graph. So, you know, if you lock up, maybe it'll draw a little annotation saying, hey, you locked up here. And the idea is so that when people are new to RST, they don't really know what to be looking for. It might kind of guide them a little bit. That being said, we would love to, you know, work with machine learning and AI to be able to, you know, get even more of that kind of, you know, auto suggestion. It's just a complex problem. But yeah, that is definitely one of the end goals eventually, is to be able to continue to add more and more accessibility into RST. Again, we're trying to make RST one of those things that's like really tailored for sim racing. So a lot of these cool like sim racing features we can add. So it's going to be a low 42 or a high 42, low 43, which is quite good because temperature's a little bit hot right now. Yeah, low 43. Let's go. Yeah, thanks, Spartan. Yeah, it's just a lot of work to get us there, you know. But I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead. Let's go look at that data. Let's see what that 2 clicks of rear rebound has done for us, if anything. See what's going on. Car feels a lot better. I think it needs a little bit more rear toe. Rear toe is going to help in those high speed sections. Again, like I said, more rear rebound is going to help in the high speed, but hurt us in the low speed. Well, I went down on the rear rebound, so but I was a little bit better in the low speed sections, but the high speed sections is a little bit unstable. So I'm going to try to add some stability with some rear toe now. What do you mean speed the dampener? Can you refresh my memory? I don't quite remember what we were talking about the other day. Pilot said this is a very special car, just the Porsche. We need to adopt different lines with the Huracan. The car don't like jumps, curves. Yeah, it's definitely any of the mid engines definitely going to be a little bit harsher over the curbs than the front engines. That being said, I will go ahead and kind of show you some of the setup. You can see on this setup here, I have a really high bump stop gap and a fairly low rate. And what that does is it helps allow the suspension to have a little bit more play, a little bit more travel before the stiffness really ramps up. You have to think of a bump stop, what it is. It's like an exponential spring, right? So a spring gets stiffer. It's linear, so it progressively gets stiffer. Well, a bump stop is like ramps up really quick, so you can get stiff really quick with really small displacements. It's how it controls the pitch of the car. You know, those really high pitching moments produce a lot of force, so you need a lot of stiffness to combat that. But for curbs, it's really bad, right? It's all about increasing wheel compliance. We want the wheel to be able to roll over the curb without having a lot of stiffness. High speed dampeners with the curbs. What did we specifically talk about? Was it the the rebound? Okay, I remember what you were saying. I haven't played with that yet. The actually speed when I mess with the bump stop gap and the bump stop rate, it feels really good over the curbs now. But I will do that. It's a good idea. But I want to go ahead and look at ours. Let's look at some of this data. So now we have this. I'm kind of curious if the beta is going to pull in. Okay, so it pulled in everything like it should. Again, beta branch. So if you guys see any crashes or anything like that, oh no, it already started messing up. Weird. It's like not even responding now. That's not good. Okay. Okay, that was weird. Not sure what was going on. Maybe like an OBS thing. All right, let's click on this one. So you can now see when I click on another graph, it's going to add that to here. So you can see we've definitely changed the dampening a little bit on the rear here. We have a little bit more high speed section here, and some of these lower speeds are definitely a little bit lower now, which is kind of interesting. I would have expected these to kind of come up a little bit more. Okay, let's see what the difference between that one is. Okay, yeah, that I must have hit something on lap 3 that really skewed that up. Yeah, there's a pretty big difference there on lap 3. Looking at 2 though, it's much less pronounced. So you can okay, so here you do see a little bit more rebound here. So I think that lap that we were looking at before, because if you look at laps 2 and 3 for that setup, they're pretty consistent. So I think maybe lap 3 I just got. Oh yeah, if you look at the time, it's 45.3. That's probably not the best lap to look at. Let's look at this 43.4 versus this 43.2. It's actually pretty interesting. Yeah, you can definitely see a little bit more rebound through there though. Let's look at the temps and the absolute pressure. Again, I always start with the pressures. Yeah, that's just kind of how it is, Pathos. It's because of how ACC does the dampener. So most games, you click a stiffness, and it's gonna like incrementally change the stiffness by a certain amount, right? ACC, the springs, dampeners, they're based on curves, so they change in different ways for different settings. So it's a little bit confusing. But you really, when you're tuning dampeners, you don't really want to just rely on histogram. So many people just go to the histogram like, hey, like this looks, not good. And they try to get it as perfectly symmetrical. Well, that's not really giving you a car that's going to respond to the transient, corner entry, corner exit the way you need it as a driver. Some drivers are going to be really slow to roll into the corner, very cautious, right? Very slow to load up the car. They can have a car that has a lot of response. People like me that like to jerk it into the corner and like maybe sometimes overshoot. That's really unsettling to the car. So we need a little less response, right? We need that car to be a little bit more progressive so that we can kind of do those little micro corrections to fix something that when we overshoot on the inputs. So really important to tune your dampeners for transient, and doing the transient is really reliant on being driver specific. Curious if the tire temperatures are looking okay. Pressures were pretty much spot on. Curious to see what the highest temperature is. So 95.3 on that rear right. So it's a little bit high, but it's like right on the cusp. There's a pretty big delta between the outside. So that kind of tells me that the rear is pretty stiff here. Front looks really good though. Like you can see the lowest here is a 77.1. You always want your tires to be above 75 degrees. After 75, they just tank. So 77.1 is pretty much perfect for that front temp to be at. I'm gonna go ahead and back out real quick, guys, and restart because I want to get the temperatures down just a little bit. So, oh, that's not even that much. Okay, let me this X and come back. Normally we always do our setups for about 23 degrees ambient, and we were up to 25, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it can make a pretty big difference. So we're just gonna restart the session. So I did a session earlier today, and I just let it like go, and so it was like really much later in the day than like what it was. So yeah, this is much better. So we have a session now. It's at 23C. Might need a little bit of tire pressure tweaks, but I think we'll be okay. Let's go ahead, and what we're gonna do is remember how I said the rear, when we did that rear rebound adjustment, it made the low speed corners much better, but the high speed was a little bit sketchy, a little too responsive. The reason why is because again, those high speed sections are really going to be influenced by the rear toe here. So I'm just going to reduce reduce the front toe to make it a little less responsive, and then increase the rear toe, which will also make it a little bit more stable here. Pata said also the dampers help getting temperature on the tire on cold conditions or avoid overheating penetrations. So that is true, Pathos. I would argue though, in real life, it's a much bigger effect than what we see in ACC. Normally going from like the lowest stiffness onto the highest stiffness on some Olins that a customer that I know has, and I think they're TTX 40s. We typically see 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. I've only seen like 1 or 2 degrees Celsius by doing that in ACC. There is an effect. I'm not saying it's not modeled. It's definitely modeled, but it's very minor. The biggest adjustments you're going to see in tire temperatures in ACC are by far the brake ducts. Even toe and camper have very minor effects on temperature. If you need like 10C, brake ducts, you're going to be like your best bet. If you're heating much more than that, you're really probably not going to have much luck no matter what you do to get them back down. So it's definitely really reliant on these ducts to be set correctly. So we did make that toe adjustment, and then let's see what that will get us here. I think that's going to really help us with the high speed. We resolved that low speed, but I think this is really going to help with the high speed as well. One thing I did want to check too is the difference in the high speed sections. So Spartan said, is it true that the slow bump should always be more than the slow bump? I think he meant rebound, right? So, or am I wrong way around, or is that false assessment? So did you mean bump and rebound? Yeah, no, that I kind of figured that's what you meant, because that's a pretty like known misconception, right? So I kind of figured that's what you were hinting at, but I always want to make sure. So that's a really good question. So we kind of talked about this, and I think it was the Audi setup video I did, but we kind of talked about dampeners and what their roles are. And essentially there's like mechanical behaviors and there's aerodynamic behaviors that the dampener is going to influence, right? So for a low speed corner, for example, more front rebound is going on corner exit is going to unload the front tires faster, which means you're going to get a little bit more front push, right? You're going to, the front's going to unload quicker. They're going to have a little less grip, and you're going to push out in the corner. On a high speed corner where the car is producing a lot of downforce, more front rebound, while still it's going to unload those front tires faster mechanically, still has the same kind of trait. It's going to slow down the extension or the rebound of that front, which is going to keep that aero element closer to the ground, right? And it's going to produce more downforce because of that. So it's going to produce more front grip in that situation. So you can kind of see it really depends on the type of car, how much downforce it produces, and then like the speed of the corner and some other little things too. But the original question is, is it true that you always want more slow rebound or more bump? That's actually kind of like an old kind of suggestion that is actually the opposite now. So the reason people always said more rebound was chassis control, right? Less rebound is going to help keep the chassis and the aerodynamics exactly where they want to be. What we kind of see in motorsports now, and I've actually seen a lot of LMP2 teams do this, is go a really high bump, a bump bias. So they go way more bump than rebound. And the reason why is you have to think when you are pushing the tire into the ground, right? So you're trying to compress that tire. The more bump you have, the more you are pushing that tire into the ground, right? You're adding more force into that tire, squishing it into the ground. So you actually generate more, I call it squish factor, but you're producing more of a normal force on that tire, right? Which is going to produce more grip. You can overload the tire, and you can overload it too much, and because of tire sensitivity can be an issue. But you typically, the more bump you can run, the more grip that you're going to generate. That being said, it does kill your wheel curb compliance and things like that. But you see a lot of these teams that produce a lot of downforce using a really high bump bias now over a rebound. The way I always think about it, Spartan, is, and one of my Formula student judges told me this, like when I was going through Formula SAE, is you always think of bump for the tire and rebound for the driver. The more rebound a car has, it's going to feel a lot more comfortable for a driver to drive. It might be slower, and the reason why is, again, more rebound means you're going to unload that tire quicker, right? So it might be a little bit slower, but you can get the car to feel really good. typically with bump, we always like try to get the bump to get those temperatures up, right? So that's kind of like what the Paso is for. I've seen teams run really high critical dampening on front tires just to get them in the temperature window, just to get them up to temp. But yeah, I would say that's pretty largely untrue that you need rebound more than bump. I always tell people when you're doing setup work, always try to get mid corner bounce nailed. So mid corner bounce, let's think, mostly going to be your rake, mostly going to be your springs, and mostly going to be your ARB. Granted, depends game to game, but those are the big three that you're going to want to tweak. Once you get that mid corner bounce really where you're happy with it, you really want to start focusing on the dampeners and the transient behavior. The reason the dampeners are such an amazing setup tool is you can actually ice. So let's think about this. If you want to have better corner entry, right? Normally ACC is really sensitive to ride height. So you increase the rear ride height, you get way more response, what really helps your corner entry, right? But it also affects mid corner, right? The car continues to want to continue to roll with more rear ride height. You have more lateral load transfer on the rear. So you're going to have a little bit more oversteer, right? So you're affecting transient and mid corner. With dampeners, they only affect transient, right? So you can get your balance at mid corner feeling a certain way. And then if you just need a little bit of tweaking, dampeners are not made for big adjustments. They're going to be a fine adjustment tool. We can do little tweaks on the dampeners. What's going to happen is you can isolate that transient behavior to the mid corner. So let's say you get your mid corner perfect, but you notice like, you know, corner entry, the car's a little bit unresponsive, right? Well, could you do? Low speed corner. You want to unload those rear tires to get the car to rotate more. Well, you keep the spring, the rake, everything else where it's at, and you just increase the rear low speed rebound dampening. Now you're going to unload those tires quicker into corner entry. So you're going to get more rotation on the entry, but the mid corner bounce is going to feel the same, and exit's going to be largely unaffected because on the exit, it's mostly about the rear bump compression dampening, right? So again, I know it's a lot, and I know there's a lot of things going on, but this is kind of how my mind works, right? So it's always about thinking about the first order effects, you know, steady state, and the second effects, and how it all works together, right? So it really, really helps to kind of think big picture like that. But again, kind of got a tangent. To answer your original question, yeah, the rebound bump thing is definitely not true. I always kind of go with the bump to get the tires where I think they need to be, where you're not a little bit too, you know, harsh over the curbs, and then the rebound to basically get it to where I feel comfortable in the car. If I feel the car is way too responsive corner entry, I'll reduce that rear rebound on low speed corners, right? So it's just kind of how it is. The histogram's a great tool to identify where you're at, right? Like if I go in the car and I corner entry, I die, right? And then I look at the histogram, it looks pretty symmetric. Then I know it's probably not, you know, an issue with the dampeners. If I have this behavior and I go in and die corner entry and I have a huge rebound bias in the dampener histograms, that's a pretty good indication that, hey, something's wrong with the dampeners. What you can't do is look at a damper histogram and say, okay, that's what I need for this car, for this driver at this corner, right? Like, it doesn't work that way. It works the other way around, but not that way. I'm not the Harry Potter setups, that's for sure. Everything I've done has just been read through books. I always joke with people, like, people that are really quick, that's really hard to learn. It's not something that you can just read in a textbook, right? It's practice. It's learning how to pick up on subtle like differences of how the car is responding to things. Setup work is just about reading textbooks and like learning concepts. So anything that I go, it can totally be learned. Speed being fast is something that's definitely a lot harder, I think. But I'm just going to reload that setup because our tires are ice cold now. And then let's go do that. No, why isn't the ignition? All right, we made those adjustments. Let's get back on track now. I love in the practice how you can totally just like ignore the pit limit. Sorry, just making sure my wife didn't text me. She's supposed to be picking us food up, so I don't want to miss that text. I'm hoping she picks up Chick-fil-A because that sounds really good. Oh, it's my dad. Yeah, anytime, man. I love talking about this stuff. So anytime I can kind of take a break and go over some of these concepts, the better, I think. let's get these tires at the temp and up to pressure. See if that toe adjustment made a difference here. So with a little bit more rear toe, I maybe expect those rear tire temperatures to be a little bit higher. So I'm be kind of cautious of that. I'll have to see though. So what Speed Demon was saying about the high-speed rebound dampening, we did look at the curbs in that over the final chicane, and we noticed that in certain cars, if you go over the bump, the car rebounds in a way where it basically is rebounding the tire into the middle part of the curb, which is like a ramp, right? So we're gonna play with a little bit of high-speed dampening to see if we can get the response just perfect to where it just basically glides over that second curb. That or it rebounds before the curb, right? So it's not like a trampoline effect. Man, corner exit's really nice. It hardly got any wheel spin or ABS engagement on the exit. All right, tires are up to pressure and temp. All right, let's go. Lost a lot of time that first sector last lap. Oh, beautiful. That felt amazing. All right, we're up right now, 43.5. I think we can do 42s. Oh, look at that delta. Come on, get in the 42s. A little bit loose there. In the twos though. Oh, my camera's frozen. No. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, thanks guys. Let me fix that real quick. That's weird. I don't know. Let me just plug her in and get that. Oh no. I think it's like permanently stuck. Let's see if that fixed. Oh, there we go. That was weird. I wonder what's causing that. Thanks for letting me know though, guys. I'm using the GoPro. I'm wondering if the USB port that I'm using for the cam link is not really good. But yeah, that was a good lap. Let's try to do it again. Paying really close attention to the response here on this turn. Wow, that's good. The exit there is amazing. No wheel spin or anything though. I think that's the first time any car I've gotten that had no wheel spin on the exit there. Down 2/10. Oh man, I got a little loose on the exit there. It was like 3/10.7 to that. Oh, that's a good exit though. 2/10. I'll take that. Maybe 3. Come on. Oh, just barely short of 3/10. All right, that's a pretty good adjustment. Let me do one more lap. I want to see how this feels again. A little bit of engagement that time. I want to watch the replay after this too to see what's going on in the final chicane. Low 43, I'll take it though. Felt really good, I think though. Tire pressure's pretty much spot on. Let's look at the data real quick. Oh no, it froze on me again. What the? I wonder if it's Alright, I'm gonna leave it on the. I'm wondering if NVIDIA broadcast is messing up, and that's what's like killing it. I don't know why I keep freezing on me. Alright, let's look at the data though. That felt really, really good. So let's take a peek real quick. So run graph. Remember how we used to have you know, different run graphs, kind of tells you a lot about, you know, lap time standard deviation thing. Like if you look in the top right here, you can now select more than one session, which is amazing. So here I, you know, selected 2, and you can see session 3, which is the bottom selection. The lap time's higher because the first lap. Let me just clear that actually real quick. If you look at the lap time standard deviation, we're pretty much our lap average is almost a second faster with these setup adjustments. And look at that lap time standard deviation down to the 0.9. We'd like to see that a little bit lower, you know, zero point 0.3, zero point 0.4, probably a little bit better. But look at this total grip curve. Like we were just getting more and more grip as we did more and more laps. We probably, if we would have done another lap, we probably would have seen a little bit more grip out of the car. Car definitely takes a little bit to warm up, but once it's warmed up, it feels really, really good. I'm gonna look at the understeer angle too. So let me go to under to 2 because I don't remember like what is what here. So the understeer angle is right around like 3. Yeah, 2.49. So it's a little bit better than what we were at. I'd like to see that a little bit higher. Typically 3 is about where I'd like to shoot for the understeer angle. Look at the tire temp. So it's kind of weird because we are running a slightly colder temperature now on the track. Let me zoom. So you can see we're a little bit cooler here. Yeah, the inside can be about 74 degrees. That's okay though. That rear tire is a lot better at 92 degrees though. So we're keeping that rear a little bit cooler than what we were before. Let's look at the suspension here. Yeah, so you can definitely see a little bit more rebound dampening has been removed, right? So the red was with a little bit higher rebound down. We took a little bit out here. I'm curious on this high speed section. Let's look at the replay real quick. I want to look at final chicane. I got rid of my dash and it's so much easier. You can actually see the camera controls now. But I remember if you guys remember, I kept like doing this before. Now I can just look. I hate how the camera rotates. Like if you guys know how to fix that, please let me know. It's so annoying. Like, the car is just like rotated right now. Let's go back to normal speed here. All right, let's go super slow-mo here. Going to be looking at this front tire and how it rebounds after this curb. So this is the one where it got a little unsettled here. I want to see what's going on. So we take some curb here. Got a little bit of a bottom out there. Let's see what goes on here though. So the inside curb hit it, starting to rebound. So that one, it didn't really rebound the same way that we had the other night, speed. Almost looks like there's not enough rebound. If I look at it again. See if let's look at the rear. The rear might be the problem with the rebound speeds here. So let's look at it again. Wish you could go even slower than this. So curb. Yeah, it kind of rebounded into the middle of that curve, that part, didn't it? Look at the other side too. I'm kind of curious if we're bottoming out on this curb. Wish there was a easier way. Can't really see that. This is a decent angle. We're not bottoming out. Close, but it's not too bad. Car looks okay here. That must not have been the one where we had the issue. Where was the one where we like really lost it over the curb? Is it this one? I took so much curb right there. That was probably my bad. Yeah, this is where it started to understeer really bad. But not too bad though. Here's what the differentials. Again. So we're gonna go. So this is definitely one bug I know to fix. Doesn't remove all the graphs sometimes. Let's look at the differential real quick. This is turn 1, 2. Look how open this differential is right here. It's crazy. And then turns 3, 4. A little bit unlocked. Okay, 1 second, guys. My wife's calling. Let me just answer this real quick. All right, sorry about that, guys. Wife called. Got to get my food order for dinner tonight. So if I look at these, you can definitely see some opening here on turn 3, 4. I'm curious if I like this part, right? You can see it open, lock, open. Here's if I just increase it a little bit more so it just stays locked. If that will give it a little bit more stability into turn 3. Let's give it a go. Let's try it. See if it happens. Car felt really, really good, I think. Let's just see. So we're just gonna hide that just for a second, guys. Oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. All right, let's say this is version 6. All I'm doing here is a little bit more preload. I'm just curious to see if it'll resolve that little bit of unstableness through 3, 4. Ooh, cold tires. Now I'm like paranoid that my mugshot cam is gonna freeze up. I keep looking at it. Gotta love streaming. Is it still cold? Yeah, it's still good. I was curious why it's taking so long for these tires to come up. Guess it's just kind of a short lap. We'll do a short race after this as well. Just to make sure the car feels good in race conditions. Ooh. Thought I was barely up on the delta right now. Definitely car feels a lot more stable now. If I can do a similar lap time, I'll be really happy with that. Oh, of course I went a little bit too wide there. I tried to really get on the throttle early. Totally invalidated though. Much better through that corner there. Oh man, damn it. Still pretty good pace right now though. One second, my alarm's going off. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Alright, let's do a good lap here, and then we'll switch over to the AI, do a quick race. Pretty happy with the setup though. Feels quite good, I think. There we go. Overslowed it. Damn it. Fire temp's looking good. Pressure's looking good. Low 43. I'm pretty happy with that. One more time. Keep saying that, but I'm determined. Oh, come on. Barely invalidated there. All right, let's do a race. So the reason I do a race, guys, is I want to see if the setup feels good when you're in a traffic. Is it, something that you can race against other, people? A lot of people, you do a setup in like hot lap conditions and it becomes like a little bit too responsive, and then you get like other traffic in there that maybe break out in front of you and do weird things that you're not expecting, and you just can't drive the car. So we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna drive 100% opponent aggressiveness, 100% skill, and let's see what happens. You guys have any questions or anything, let me know. Super happy with the setup. Feels really good, I think. Don't really feel like it needs too many changes here. Go ahead, I'm gonna load it up real quick. The temperatures are probably pretty good. Just make sure I'm on the right tire set. Good to go. All right, guys, let's do it.
Go in double file.
So we're starting in the back of the GT3 grid. Have the GT4 cars loaded in just to give us a little bit of extra fun. I don't think we'll be able to lap them, unfortunately, in 15 minutes. It's still kind of cool to have them in the race. Really like that about the new update. It's really cool that you can race multi-class offline now. Dragging the brakes here, trying to get some temperature in them. Let me get the pressures up earlier. Could be going green here pretty soon. Oh, what a start. What a start. Let's go. This is gonna be super sketch.
3 wide. All clear. Clear on the left. Car on the left. 3 wide. All clear. Clear on the left. Car on the left.
Oh.
3 wide. Clear on the left. All clear.
Woo! Let's go, boys. Never do that in real life. Never. See how much damage we got. 2 seconds, so not too bad. We did a little bit of a tank slap on the side. But it's kind of nerve-wracking with the other AI so close. Up into P7 though. Love the look of the Aston Martin. Such a cool car. Tire temps are almost where they need to be. See if we can get a position here. I know the AI always breaks so early there. It always freaks me out. All right, we're gonna take the inside here.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Oh, got it done. Let's go, boys. So that feels really good so far. Really happy with it. Let me catch these guys. Definitely closing the gap up ahead too. Not quite like the Mercedes 2020, but for a mid-engine, I will take that for curve handling. That felt really quite good. All right, we're in closing distance of the P5, the 31 Bentley here.
Fastest lap of the race. Great job, man.
I'd have left a little bit. That's a horrible place I passed, so go ahead and back out of it. Be safe than sorry.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Nice. There goes another one. Now we got Dennis Lynn in the 18 Lamborghini. Up ahead. Let's see if we can close that gap too. These cars are so fast right now. I love the Lamborghini. It's one of my favorite cars to drive, like for real. It's so much fun. That's a really good exit. Come on. Get a toe. Gonna take the outside into turn one. I think we're gonna get it, but we'll see. We go super late on the brakes here. Oh no, he's got a better run. Man, it's fun that you can race this close with the AI. I love it. A little bit dodgy there.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Oh man, I had to ditch out. I was gonna hit him.
Car on the left. Clear
I'm
on
gonna
the
give
left.
it another position, damn it. Why are you so slow in the apex? All right, 8 more minutes, guys. 8 more minutes. See if we can get. I think we could maybe get up to P3. Have to see though. All right, come on. We're gonna hit him. We're gonna hit him.
On the left. Clear on the left.
Golly. I don't know if it's the AI or just they don't have as good of a setup, but they always break so early there.
We are at the halfway mark. Still a long way to go.
1 second, guys. Okay, 1 second. Sorry if you guys can hear that. My wife is trying to get a hold of me. 7 more minutes.
Warning for exceeding track limits.
Ooh, got a warning there. Hey, what's up, Stillcast? How's it going, bud? Yeah, I got the wife got some Pedo Heroes. These should be pretty good. Super excited for that. We're gonna finish this race and then I'll be getting off. But the setup that will be that we've developed here today, guys, it's gonna be in the Imola pack. You can get them at racingsimtools.com/setups. We don't have the Imola setup pack out, but it will be coming out pretty soon. We still have to do a few more cars. I'll try to do the streams. I just really enjoy, you know, hanging out with you guys and showing you our RST and kind of doing the setups together. It's always a lot of fun, I think. I want to get this position back. We're gonna take the inside here. Maybe a little bit far back. Oh, we got a better exit. Yeah, it's an amazing game. I love it, Stillcast. It's there's a lot of work to get it to run and, you know, this way to look this way, but it's an awesome, fun game. Hopefully this stream's been good quality for you guys. Tire pressures look really good. A little bit low on the left-hand side, perhaps, but it's not too bad. Gotta really step on it there not to make contact. So hard to get position here at Imola. Like, it's ridiculous. Awesome, thanks for letting me know, man. 4 more minutes, probably another 2 or 3 laps. I would really like to get another position now. Oh, here it is, boys. Yellow, we're gonna take the inside here. I think we're catching the guys ahead too. I would love to get a podium here. Let's go. We closed so much time on them in that right-hander. It's crazy. Oh, we're right here. We need to stay close. Man, look how much power that Bentley has. Just pulling away. I think we can take an inside line here. A little bit back. We're going to go for it.
Car on the right.
Still giving room? Oh, no. That was my bad. I was a little bit aggressive. I thought I gave enough room, but I guess not.
Car on the left.
All right, let's get back at it. See if we can cover this. Maybe keep this position here. P7 would be nice. Yeah, it wasn't full send, I guess. 1 second, I'm still streaming.
Car on the right.
All right, 2 more minutes, guys. As soon as this stream is over, I'm probably gonna have to end the stream. Again, the setup that we had here, we've available on this web. If you guys have questions or you guys want me to do a setup, just request in the Discord. I'll try to do whatever setups you guys want me to do for Imola. We can work through them together. And man, this guy's on the inside. This is super sketch. Got it done. But yeah, I'll do them in any order. If you have any questions about the video, just tag me in Discord. I'll try to answer any questions you guys might have. And hopefully you guys can kind of see the new awesomeness of the new tool. Hopefully that will be out in beta like another week or two. We still have like 1 or 2 more things to finish up on it. It's going to be amazing, I think, when it's all said and done. Andrew's been doing an absolute fantastic job working that update. Final lap. Wonder if I can catch these guys. Lost a lot of tire pressure though, unfortunately. Really deep here. Really pushing to catch these guys here. Be nice to get another position. Hey, thanks for stopping by in the chat, man. Hope you have a good night. Thank you for hanging out and chatting. It's always a lot of fun when you guys do that. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. We're always like talking on the Discord. Man, could probably get another position here, but we're just going to play it safe. We're just going to get pizza in here. Maybe we get on the exit here. Nope, too much curb. Oh well. Cool, well that's going to be the stream, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. Either way, it helps bring more people to the community. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want me to do a car for Imola, again, in the Discord, let me know, and I'll try to get to it. But again, thank you guys for hanging out. It's